Hey, shalom, shalom, everybody. If you have this model, it's because I'm teaching you how to model a character with the proper edge loops. You're learning how to skin, or you're learning how to animate. That's typically the reason why I give this model out. So let's begin with the modeling section of this particular video. So when you get it, the first thing I want you to do, right click and unfreeze all, okay? That's typically the first thing I want you to do. Secondly, I want you to select the character and I want you to trash this skin simply by hitting the trash can. And then the next thing I want you to do, check the eyes real quick. Okay, next thing I want you to do is select any bone on that character and just hit delete. Okay? That's it. First part of the lesson over, okay? Secondly, I'm teaching you how to model this character. Now, don't get overwhelmed, and I throw people in the mix of it right away because I want them to know the proper application for what's happening. So what we're going to do is we're going to trace this model. And if you just do this without understanding, if you just do it, you'll be okay. So I have a method in teaching where I require students to stop asking me for understanding. Well, I don't understand how you're supposed. Look, stop trying to understand and just copy. If you want to understand, there's plenty of other videos out there. You're getting the heavy crash course. Let's just get it down and do it. You will understand by the time you're done with all of this. So we're going to model as we go. Step 1, go to the Create panel, go to the Plane, P-L-A-N-E. We're going to make sure that there's one segment for each one. And you can right click on these elevators. And so like if this number was that, right? Okay, now it's kicking me to 1,000 or whatever. I can right click on it. It'll just drop it to 1. Now, because I have the plane that's blue, click and drag. Okay, and that's it. Next, Modify panel. Well, obviously, just like from the last video, we got to be able to push and pull these vertices. So we're going to go ahead and click on this. And if we want to edit something, we just remember, okay, I'm editing this object. I'm going to go to Edit Poly. And then there's a vertex. Perfect. So what we're going to do is we're going to highlight the yellow and the y-axis and make it yellow. Also the x-axis by clicking this, click and drag, and we're going to put it towards the character. Now, as you can see, the plane is inside the person. If I hold Alt, middle mouse button, I can rotate, right? And you'll notice I'm not in 4 viewports, right? In the previous videos, I was in 4 separate viewports. Now I'm in 1. How I like to work is in 1 viewport. It just makes things easier for me. It allows me to focus on one thing at a time, not 4 viewports at a time. That's very hard for people to do in the beginning. So down in this very bottom right hand corner, there's this maximize viewport toggle. Just click it and you'll go full screen. Okay. Now, what I want to do next is I want to move the plane in front of the person, just like that. And now, oh, I can't see the thing. If I'm supposed to trace it, how do I know? Easy. Alt X. It will allow you to see through the person. And now, as you can see, this X-ray mode, that's what this is called, this X-ray mode for me, has this weird noise that's happening. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn that off simply by going to user defined over here in the viewport and just do standard quality, or just standard. Okay, and then now that noise is gone. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my vertex mode, and you'll see I have a vertex here. Look at that, I can move it. So if I'm in my front viewport, how do you get to the front viewport? Hit F on the keyboard, just F. And you move it. Okay, look at that. I'm kind of like lining it up. And what about this one over here? Oh, I can line it up. What about this one over here? Line it up. And then line it up again. Good. First step, just line it up. But you'll see as you rotate the camera, we have to deal with a different axis. So here's what we can do now. Since we lined it up in the front the best we can, we can mouse wheel in and get tighter if we want to. All right. Something like that. And we can go over here, zoom in, just like this. Now what am I doing? Wheeling out with my mouse wheel, panning with my middle mouse button. Okay, and I'm just lining it up to the best of my ability. You know what, guys? It's okay that if you don't get this right away, you'll get it. I'm telling you, by the time you're done getting this whole entire character, especially when you get into those hands, you'll be pretty darn good at modeling. I can almost promise you that. You'll be excellent at navigation. That's for sure. Sorry, I'm trying not to swear. Okay, for darn sure. Okay, now also we can select this by turning the camera, Alt, middle mouse click, go to Y, and just pull it in. Right? Just click and drag it in. So you'll notice that the polygon is starting to change because these different colorations in the geometry, this is called clipping. And they are. These pieces of geometry are starting to clip, and that's how you know you're actually like getting it right. So just go ahead and close the gap over here, and let's see what happens. So that's pretty much it. Now, how do you know if you actually got it 100%? Well, we've got better tools. What we can do is we can go over here to your snaps toggles. This big fat number 3 over here. We just click it. You have to right click it to check and see what it's going to snap to. So let's just make sure the vertex snap is on, which it is. And we can select it and move it around. And look at that. It'll snap right to that vertex. Pop. And then we can move it around and pop. It's like a magnet. And we can do it again and pop. And that's how we know it's right. See how that clipping, that's also known as Z-fighting. Those two polygons are from one from the person and one from this new one that we made. They're clashing with each other. Okay? So we have laid down our first polygon, guys. Look at that. So now we got to build another one out. So I'm going to select my edge tool, select this edge, and I want to duplicate. Actually, what's it called? Not duplicate. I'm extruding. So I'm going to turn off my snap toggle first. I'm going to hold shift on the keyboard and highlight the x-axis. I'm going to click and drag. Okay? Very simple. Now I can do this a couple times. And I can go in number 1 on the keyboard, or I can press vertex and I can turn my snap on, and look at that. Pop, 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 pop. Oh, I'll save. Okay, and then pop again. Do this. Now, here's some things that I want to communicate to you as we're doing this. So, by the way, I'm gonna work and talk at the same time, but I'm not gonna really do anything different. I'm gonna select, turn off my toggle, shift drag, shift drag, shift drag, shift drag, shift drag. Okay, that'll be enough for now. Now, when I turn this back on, and I take this point and match it to this one, when we select both points, you'll see it says 2 vertices selected. That's okay. We'll deal with welding in a minute. Just trace it. Now, when I was a kid and I was working in 2D and I was learning how to draw, one of the things that I learned that was very important to me was I wanted to get better, but I didn't have a teacher in my house who really knew how to draw well. I mean, my dad could draw okay because he's in construction and he had to communicate some plans, but there was nobody in the house that really can draw people, So how do you draw people well, or and no less even model them? Well, I had Nintendo Power and I had comic books and I had different things to my disposal, and I just traced. I just took a piece of paper and just traced on top of it, and then I learned how to draw. Doing the tracing enough time, it actually helped. So, as you can see, like I had my snap tool on while I was modeling, and I got some really funky results. And I was just trying to show you too, while I was telling you that little story, that it's okay that if it doesn't look right, we got ways to fix that. I'm just gonna click and drag, click and drag, and do it again. Tracing is okay. It's okay that you don't know what you're doing. It's okay that you're lost. It's okay that you're confused. You know what? This is brand new to people. This is a new concept. 3D has only been around for like 40 years. That's it. we just didn't have it. We 40 years ago we had to like type in numbers or whatever. I wasn't around back then, but I know enough about my history to know how this stuff works. Okay, so select what I did here is I've got something funky really going on in this armpit area, and I got to deal with this. So I hit F3, go into wireframe mode, and then click and drag. Now, how do you know you're clicking and dragging on the right one? Well, trial and error. So if I'm moving and I want to put it over here, if I hit F3, well, obviously I screwed up. So hit F3 again, and then just move it. Okay, and you can put your finger on the screen. Take your finger and put it on the screen. Just put it on the screen. And then hit F3 with your other hand, and then move your vertex right where your finger is. Hey, look at that, I did it. And then we do it again. As you can see, like, I built this out pretty quickly already. Like, look how much work I did. I'm building a character, guys. You're building a character too. Be encouraged. This is great. Now, what if I want to do more than one edge at a time? What if I want to come over here, because this area is pretty similar. If I want to select 3, if I want to get real brave, I can hold Control and then Shift and drag. Oh, I lost it. Where'd it go? That's okay. Don't worry. Hit F3, then hit 1 on the keyboard, and now you got some vertices to look at. And then look at that. I rotated my camera around, and that got really weird. I think Shift Z on your keyboard, mine's a little different. Shift Z on your keyboard should undo the camera move. So just try and toggle back and forth. If you know where the stuff is going to go, drag, click, move. Drag, click, move. Okay. Now, when modeling the character for this assignment, guys, do not model the other half of the character. Just model this half. And if you just keep doing this over and over and over again, just do the same method. Select the edge, extrude it out. Select the edge, extrude it out. And then 1 on the keyboard or vertex mode over here off to the side, and just start moving your vertices. Be brave. Take massive action. You can do this. It's not that scary. And you'll get it done in no time. You really will. This will just not take all that long. If you hit 1 on the keyboard, click and move. You don't have to understand. Just do it. Just do it. Choose to do it. That's something else that I think that will help you. You have to commit in your head to get away from reluctancy. Reluctancy is a major paralysis of the body, of the mind. Reluctancy, not sure what to do. Don't be paralyzed. Say this to yourself. This is happening. I have to do this. Turn all your other voices off. This is happening. I have to do this. Go to 2 on the keyboard. Select an edge. Rotate the camera if you have to. Just extrude it so you can see it. Hit 1 on the keyboard. Drop it down. Drop it down. Drop it down. Now, I've got something funky happening over here. I've got, see, that's something else you got to worry about. But it happens. Ooh, what do I do here? I've got a triangle, but I've got a quad. So what do? What do I do? So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and select both of these areas at once, these 2 vertices, okay? And we're going to hit this button down here called Connect, okay? And what you can see is it actually cut the polygon in half. So I can do it over here, and it did work. Okay, but I want to follow the blue line, so just hit connect. Now what I can do is I can come over here just like this to this extra polygon and hit delete. So go to the triangle tool, select the edge, hit 1 on the keyboard, bam, and bam. Okay guys, that's all for now. I've got to take off. I'll see you guys later. Shalom.